Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Wow, everyone. Welcome to the show. It's so great to be connecting with all of you. I'm Dr. Pat. You're listening to the Dr. Pat Show. This is a very special segment with my friend, my colleague, Dr. Glenna Rice. We have got something to share with you. Think about this. All of life come to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life come to me with ease, joy, and glory. And by the way, that's today's show. Dr. Glenna is joining me here today. Special guest joining her, Blossom Benedict. Why? Because we want to share the ease and the grace by which manifesting everything, anything that you want, will make a difference. And this is really the kind of cool thing about it, is what if you could say something, can feel it, can breathe it, could live it? What if you were doing that in a way that you felt exactly what I'm saying, that you could feel it, you could live it, you could breathe it? So think about this. What does the only mantra Access Consciousness offers change? What is this about? Glenna and Blossom are joining me here today. We're going to discuss the value of mantras as a tool. I know for me, they're fabulous. I will tell you that a number of years ago, I was given a prayer, and it is a mantra. It's more of a mantra. And the mantra was, Spirit, higher power, whatever, self, please heal my fear-based thoughts. And I said that mantra 70 times a day for 70 days. 70 times a day for 70 days. Now I don't have to be conscious of it. So a mantra is something that helps us in the world live in the space we truly want to live in. Today's show with Dr. Glenna, with Blossom, is about creating the change. When? All right. Do you think you have to be doing this for 20 years to see if your life will change? Yeah. That is the old conversation on transformation. Those of you that have bought the $10,000 packages, no, actually they're more than that, gone to the workshops, the webinars, and had people tell you, well, change doesn't happen overnight. Let me tell you, change does. Dr. Glenna taught me. Change does. And what did she give me? She gave me some tools. I make decisions now. Is it light or is it heavy? And if it's heavy, I still don't know what to do with that. But I know not to do it. Why do I know not to do it? Because when you practice things like this and they work, why would you ever change a winning game? Glenna, Blossom, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dr. Pat. This is awesome. Yeah, why would you change a winning game? Oh, my God.
I'm fired up. I'm fired up today.
I'm so happy to be here. You excite me so much just listening to you on this topic.
Oh, my gosh. I got to tell you, Glenna, you got to help me with this. Now, I am telling the truth when I said I know what to do with the light thing, but I don't know what to do with the heavy thing. Here's what I know what to do. I don't pay attention to it. And I know there's something else I'm supposed to do with it, but I don't do anything with it. I love this show today because as recently as yesterday, I was told by a professional, right, that, well, you didn't get this way overnight, Pat, and it's not going to change overnight. Then I got my blood work back, and now I'm saying to the professional, dude, how do you explain this? It looks like an overnight thing to me. So I'd like you to talk about this. Let's talk about all of life come to me with ease, joy, and glory. Why would you change a winning game?
Oh, wow. I love what you said to the doctor, too, Dr. Pat. That's great. Why would you change a winning game? Well, that would be silly, wouldn't it? But everything's changing all the time, so your winning game is always changing and becoming greater and greater all the time. It's to always be in that point of view that you want to create more, and you want to include the things in your life that create more for you. So if the things that are working for you, just keep asking that question, is it still working for me? And the game will be changing all the time if you get that light awareness that yes, it is. And what else can you do? What else is possible here? Blossom, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, Blossom, I'm so glad to be talking with you.
I know. I'm happy to be here. I
didn't even introduce you guys.
That's all right.
And so Blossom is an international speaker, a transformational coach. She has touched thousands of lives. She's actually one of the first people I actually did get to speak with years ago, to really stand up and, be this certified access facilitator. But actually more than that, what I love about what Blossom does is, this co-creator of Right Voice for You, and, somebody that steps out into the world and knows how to help other people. Blossom, thank you for joining us here today. What do you think about this idea of, oh my God, really? It's going to take me 10 years? I don't even know. Am I going to be alive? Tell me what you think.
I love that you mentioned your blood work, because it's funny. One of the things I was told would never change was I had a thyroid condition.
Oh.
And that's not even take 10 years. That's just, medication for life. And that is one of the things that I just didn't, that felt heavy, that didn't feel true to me. And I kept going, hey, body, what do you require? What other questions can I ask? And I've been off my medication for 7 years now. And finally, because my mom was so paranoid, I went to the doctor and I got my blood work rechecked. And everything is normal. My thyroid is normal. It's like, I don't suggest people just get off their medication, but change anything with the right tools and questions. So I think that's a terrible mindset, that change is hard or takes a long time or it's impossible to change. Very bad mantra.
I know. I love it, right? Glenna, how about you? Because I know you've been told a few things about what you can and cannot do, but what I know today is you're Dr. Glenna Rice, right? Oh, Glenna, right. How you don't have time to go to school. How are you going to do that? How are you going to raise a family? How are you going to take it? Right?
Right. That's pretty much the point of view out there. It was part of that. People were kind of confused. A lot of my friends are also, using these tools, so they were just, woo, go for it, have fun. But other people were like, how are you going to do that? Or how are you doing that? Yeah. And and it was a year and a half, and it did change my life. It totally added to my life. And if I'd had that point of view that change was hard, change was a lot of work, or you just, shouldn't be changing things that much at a certain age, then I would have been able to even consider choosing something like that.
Right. For you, Glenna, one of the things I love is, okay, yes, you're a physical therapist. You're also owner of Access Physical Therapy. You're an Access facilitator. You teach people all over the world. We're out there in the world, and you see people come to the table that may or may not believe that they can have what you both have, right? At some point, the three of us sitting here, we were skeptics. I'm pretty sure that if we dig a little deep, right, that we're here today and we're able to talk about this, not because we signed up right at the gate and say, yeah, I believe you. No, we probably showed up and said, wow, I've tried A, B, C, and D, and that stuff didn't work. Why would I try this and figure out that it does? But don't you think that is our gift as well? That we are here and we've been at the place probably where listeners are right now saying, you know what, it's just those three. They were born this way. No. How about you two? I know I wasn't born this way.
No,
I'm working on. Go ahead, Glenna.
No, I was going to. In some ways, I was born this way, and we all are born this way, because I was always willing to choose things that were greater. If I look back at my life before I had these tools, what's really changed is it's so much easier now. And the doubt, the skepticism, those crazy thoughts in your head, or when people are saying you can't, just don't affect me anymore. I have too many tools to go, oh, is that even mine? Or the mantra we're talking about today, that's a great one to start changing it, so those things that start popping into your head when you want to choose more, it's just easier to choose more, because all of your life comes to you with ease, with joy and glory is what we're asking and putting out there to everything around us to contribute to. So everything starts to get easier. So those doubts start to be less loud, or they
Yeah.
completely disappear.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think I was born this way too. Let me make a correction, and then Blossom, you need to chime in here. We're going to skip the break because we're fired up here today. You know, I was kind of born this way, but let me explain what I mean. I was born as a kid that at age 4 in the projects in the Bronx, I'm the kid that when mom says, don't jump on the bed, you're going to get hurt. I'm in the projects and I'm jumping and jumping and jumping on the bed, right? Me and Pasquale were, yes, that was her name. And I'm jumping and then jumping and I'm jumping on the bed because I don't listen. And what did I do? Here's the good news. You ready? I jump in on the bed and I'm crazy. I'm almost hitting the ceiling, right? And it's one of those old school beds that don't have the double mattress. It's a one with the metal mattresses because, okay, this is the projects, right? So I'm jumping on the bed. So all of a sudden I'm jumping up. I miss. I'm a little bit off track. And the only thing between me and 14 stories down, right, the window, is a radiator. And what radiator, you know? And so what do? I miss the window. Amen. And I hit my head on the radiator. To this day, I got a scar. So my mother says to me, years later, that's really why you are the way that you do. It just knocked your brains. So what I want to say is, yeah, that part of me is still here. But there are parts of me that I want to take credit for modifying. How about you, Blossom? Have you always been the amazing person you are today? And you can say yes.
Well, no, it's funny. I'm working on a book, and I was writing this piece the other day about one of my earlier breakups, and it just threw me back into how dramatic I was, and how traumatic so many things were. And this mantra that Glenna mentioned, this all of life comes to with ease and joy and glory. What in my life, what I realize is I use that and play with it and say that is, it's not that bad things never happen. It's that I can choose now to even end a relationship with ease and joy and glory, or get a flat tire with ease and joy and glory. Like, put me into a really different way of navigating the world. And it was so funny to be writing about this time when things came much more painfully. Like, there was a lot of angst about my purpose and why I was alive and what I was meant to do. It was all a little bit heavy. So yeah, I'm so grateful for that shift of perspective, really, more than anything. And which now I'm like, I can handle sort of whatever. I can change sort of whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you one of the things that I've changed. And one of the things that I've changed is, if you'd have asked me, I don't know how long ago, but maybe even before I started the show, that I'd be talking to you and saying, yeah, let's talk about a mantra, right? Now, Linda, my best friend since 1973, would say, yeah, you're a little bit strange like that. But I don't know that I would be so excited about a show today where we're talking about all of life come to me with ease, joy, and glory. And I'm excited about this, because I want to write a new narrative on what transformation is. That is my purpose in life. Dr. Glenna, tell us about yours, and tell us about the mantra. Tell us about the juiciness of it, and how did this come to you guys, you ladies?
Well, the mantra, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory, was one of the first access tools, and it's making a big comeback right now, which is really exciting.
Big.
There's a lot. Big comeback, yeah. And it's not that we haven't been using it, but it hasn't been talked about as much in the last few years as it was when I first started Access. When I took my first classes, which was 10 years ago, it was talked about more, and it was something that I used. It was something that, they suggested in the first manual, the foundation class, to use and say 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening. And just like a lot of these really great tools that I learned then that are still in the foundation class, I started using it. And it started changing things. And I had never done a mantra in my life. I'd never even been to church. Praying, any kind of that kind of stuff was not something I did. And I wouldn't say it's like a prayer, but it is something like a mantra that you say over and over again. If you're saying it 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening or more. And it does, I was looking at what mantra is. It's like an invocation in some ways. So it's like you're creating a magic spell. So in some ways it is like a mantra. It is creating that way of being with your life, where everything, the good, bad, the ugly, starts to come to you with ease, joy and glory. And when we talk about glory, it's the exuberant abundance of life. It's when you're excited about things, and things that you're receiving massively, and it's having everything come to you that way. And the first time I used it, my kids and the kids were young men, and I'd always had dinner table cleanup moments, and I was starting to get grumpy mom on them, and you guys need to get in here and help me clean the dishes and put them away, and And then I would, oh, that's cool. And I remember yelling at them. I'm like, you guys need to say this with me right now. All of life comes to us with peace, joy, and glory. And we yelled at them, and they were yelling it back at me, and I was yelling at them. And then I noticed that we were starting to skip and dance around the kitchen, putting the dishes away. And I kind of stopped and had this moment like, wow, everything, even the things that are driving me nuts, can come to you with ease and joy. Like the idea that ease and joy and fun would be part of putting the dishes away had never even occurred to me. Yeah, so it's magical to use it. And I'm starting to use it again all the time, and it's starting to even changing differently.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Blossom, I got to ask you about this because I met you, I don't know, several years ago. And, you know, we really, I don't want to take credit for it, but Jessica helps me take a little credit for it. You know, when we saw what you guys were doing before you guys had your, you know, own radio show and so forth, we just thought, my gosh, the world needs to know about you. You know, let's create a radio and media presence. And I loved being able to do that because not only did it help all of our listeners, but to this day, we get emails about those early shows we did with, Gary and Dr. Dane. I mean, you know, here we are, I don't know how many years later, all those shows are embedded in the digital world because somewhere along the line, we kind of figured out we had our own mantra. We didn't know it was a mantra. Now, I've got to ask you both a question. I know it's one of the earliest tools. I know we're going to talk about it. But science now tells us that most people have their own mantras, and they're mostly negative. And I would love for you to talk about what I mean by that, because, yes, I did say the negative word. What I mean by that is more than 10 times a day, we have a mantra that is not all life come to me with ease, joy, and glory. It's usually more like, holy, you know what? Really? This is my life? Mamma mia, what are we doing? Now, you know I'm not making that up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, people, they're everything. This is so hard. I can't do it. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. Everything's so scary these days. I mean, anything that you catch yourself saying in your head over and over, I don't have enough money, all those things become mantras, and you do start to actualize them because they're what you believe is true now, and so you see evidence for it everywhere in the world. And, you know, people listening probably all have their own experience of that. You know, the more you say something, the more it's true. My kids are driving me crazy. You make that your mantra, and they're going to make you nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask you both this question. You work with a lot of people all over the world, and we don't really get time most of the time to chat about this. And we're going to come talk today. We're going to talk what is ease, what is joy, what is glory. We're going to talk about all this. We're going to talk about it. I'm getting ready to share something that happened to me at the doctor's office the other day, a conversation I had with an 8-year-old. I'm not allowed to say her name, but we're going to be sharing the dialogue of that, which literally changed my life. Even for me, it changed my life. We're going to share that because there's such wisdom that comes from us, the innocence of youth. I want to ask you, the thousands of people that you both work with, they don't all show up in the way that the three of us are showing up here today. Aren't they usually, just like we, aren't they usually at a point of pain? Dr. Glenna, why don't you take this? Because I know you know a little bit about pain.
Yeah, pain is a very popular part of this reality for sure. People do show up. Often it's the pain in their life or the struggle or the, whatever's frustrating them is what gets them to choose something different. I know that was for me because somewhere so many people actually, pain's valuable in some ways, but they actually want to change it. They want something different. They want a different possibility, and it's really hard to even see how that exists. the way everyone is always talking about pain, almost invoking it, having mantras about pain. My back is me, is a question people come in with so often when in my practice. And I usually just say, well, that's not really a great thing for your back to do. It's not a job you really want to give it. Your back's not interested in killing you. And that usually creates a little laughter and opens up for possibilities. But yeah, so often pain can be like the motivating thing that gets people to start choosing more for them and more in their life. And then Access actually has these really great pragmatic tools that work greater than anything I've seen so far to actually start changing those things. Like, I didn't think that, I came into Access because my life was frustrating and I was angry all the time, and I asked the question, what would it take for that to change? What would it take to not be angry and frustrated? And everything started to, show up. Like, I met an Access facilitator within a week or two of saying that. And then there were actual tools that started, like, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory, that I could use and change things that I didn't think I could change before. So pain can be a motivation, and it's so not real. It's so not real in our body. It's usually just information our body's giving us about something. And the other things in our life that we think are painful or frustrating or make us upset, and the trauma and the drama aren't real either. And it's so cool when you start finding that out, when you start using a tool like Who Does This Belong To, where all life comes to with ease, joy, and glory, and these things that you thought were never going to change just disappear. Like, it is fast, and it can be fast. Both of you guys talking about with your blood work, like, that's not something that's considered unchangeable in this reality. And we have testimonials all over the place, from all over the world, that have stories like that.
Yeah. I don't even want to go into the whole blood work story. I'm just going to tell you that I sent an email. We don't even have – okay. We don't even get to call our doctors anymore. We have this e-care system now that you got to go in and you got to log in to ask everybody a question. That's how we're communicating. I'm okay with that. But I ask questions because I got now a letter on the blood work, and it's like, oh, everything's like normal. I emailed him back. I said, dude, I didn't say dude. I said, Dr. Dude. Dr. Dude, here's what I want to say to you. Have you compared this blood work to the blood work in April? I said, do you think a 500% change is normal? I said that, Glenna. And I thought to myself, oh, no, I'm going to be on air with Glenna and Blossom. Should I have asked a different question? I don't know. Help me. Should I have asked a different question? Probably. Because for me, my question to myself is, dude, get on the train. What else was possible here?
It's a great question, and whether he heard it or not is, doctors have their fixed points of view. I worked with many of them over the years, and he may be one that hears it.
He will. Yeah. But here's what I know. I got ready by looking at the show, and I have to tell you, all of life come to me with ease, joy, and glory. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this. Is it really a mantra? And what does ease, joy, and glory mean? So when we come back, Dr. Glenna, Blossom, they're going to share for them. They're going to take us through a conversation about what does ease mean, what does joy mean, what does glory mean, and how has this shown up in their lives? Because one of the things I know is that you all, and I don't expect you guys that are listening to this show to just take our word. I have to see examples. I have to be able to know that, yeah, this is it for me, but I'm willing to try it. Are you ready to try it? What I'd like to say for anybody out there that wants to create a shift, if you call into the show right now, Glenna and Blossom are going to take you on this journey, and we are going to do the mantra together. Fasten your seatbelt for today. And, are you ready for all of the juiciness you can imagine? How is it going to change lives? And when we come back, we're also going to introduce you to what this means, where do you start, and what you can expect. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
I'm Christine Upchurch, and this is a Stellar Reflections Minute. What does the word healing mean? Many think that healing merely means eliminating symptoms. However, based on my many years as a healer, I have a much broader perspective on the word. Healing can manifest in a variety of ways, including having physical problems resolved, becoming more emotionally centered, experiencing better relationships, gaining greater clarity, and feeling more spiritually connected. True healing always includes some level of transformation. Whatever form healing takes, there is one commonality, an improvement in quality of life. To me, the highest form of healing goes beyond aligning with wellness. It comes from recognizing our soul's voice and allowing it to speak through us. And in that sense, don't we all yearn to heal into our wholeness? Please visit StellarReflections.com or call 425-999-9836. That's 425-999-9836.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere, with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Hey, everybody. It is so great to be here. Dr. Glenna Rice. And as I said before, oh my gosh, Blossom Benedict joining us here today. Before we get into the conversation, and I literally am going to turn the show over to you two, you have got a number of things coming up. And I'd love to talk about it. Glenna, for you today, it's kind of like conscious parenting, conscious kids. How brilliant is that? Right? And then there are a number of classes. Can you both please tell our listeners, first of all, how they can find out more about what we're talking about here today, but also about each of you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I have a three-part telecall that I just have been doing. This is the third day. And if you did were interested in it, you would get all the recordings from the previous 2 days. But it's been amazing. It's how to outmanipulate your children, create a life that works for you, and empower your kids. And that's happening. The last day is today. I've got another teleseries on bodies and sex that's starting today. Also, it's a whole day of being on the phone, pretty conscious. I'm very excited about that. And one of the really cool things that's showing up this summer is Blossom and I are with another facilitator, Stephanie Richardson, who we had on, I think, last month. I think it was last month we had Stephanie on as my guest. And we're doing the foundation class of Access. Yeah. So we're doing a whole extravaganza of fun, exciting things around that class also. So the foundation of Access is where the pragmatic tools, we start to first get those in Access. You need the bars class first, which you can go online and find at accessconsciousness.com, find facilitators in your area. And then in the foundation class, we have all these tools like All of Life, Joy and Glory. And we're going to be doing this class in 5 days. And I'm actually going to let Blossom talk about interested more about that class. And you can find me at glennarice.com and Blossom at blossombenedict.com. And the foundation class, Living the Foundation, is the livingthefoundation.com. And Blossom can talk about it. It is so fun to hear her enthusiasm about this magical class that she's been putting together that I am so impressed with her abilities to do.
Well, I'm just so excited about this event because, first of all, the foundation is the class that really started changing my life. I got this manual. It had a couple hundred pages in it of all these areas in my life where I had no idea all these, like you said, sort of negative mantras running my life. I had no idea all these points of view I was functioning from. And this manual just gave me tool after tool and question after question to actually shift that, not just in my thoughts, but energetically, like to change that pattern. So I did. I read this manual 50, 100 times over and over and over. And things really, really started shifting in my life. And I also then had to figure out sort of, okay, well then what does this look like when I'm having conversations or in my relationship or with my body or, you know, and you sort of start to navigate that and you're around people not using the tools and then you're figuring out how to use the tools. And so I started going, hey, what would I have loved more than anything to have existed when I first found this work? Because I learned it, which is me and one other facilitator sitting in a room going through this manual. So we put together this, it's sort of like a consciousness summer camp where we're going through this huge, massive curriculum. And then in the mornings, we're applying it to movements. So we have like yoga and dance and meditation walks, but all using the Access tools. And then in the afternoons, we're picking all these different topics like, you know, your body, eating, the joy of business, how to have joy in business, how to show up on the stage. We'll do painting and photography and sort of going, okay, we gave you these tools, but this is how we use them in our daily life. And then we have like fireside chats at night to look at more personal things that you have going on and just, okay, well, again, how do we apply these tools we just learned this morning to this thing you're looking at now? To really living the foundation, what would it be like to really just like live and breathe these tools?
I want to come.
With conscious
how do I
playmates.
come? How do I go?
Pat.
I mean, I don't even know. I probably have not met the prerequisite. But how do people? How I'm on the website now. What a party you guys are having here. What should people know?
It's a huge party. So all you need to come is a bars class. You need to know how to run the bars, and that is even offered online in the Access Consciousness shop.
Okay.
You could take that now. You could take that online. You grab a friend, two of you learn the bars, and we can help you orchestrate that too. If you go to livingthefoundation.com and look at the contacts, you know, we'll help you figure it out. Dr. Pat, I booked every Airbnb in the city of Holland, Michigan, because this is a summer retreat town. This town is beautiful. It totally is bustling, and I was like, we're going to have rooms for everyone who wants to come. So we're having a big party.
Wow. So can you guys tell me a little bit, because I'm not going to take the next break, but we're going to get right into the mantra. But how do people register online? I saw when I went to, by the way, everybody, go to livingthefoundation.com, and I saw find a bars class or frequently asked questions. So everything is really here, correct? They can get to, sign me up online.
Accommodation where you fly to will help find you a roommate. It really... It's on my big horse ranch. The class is going to be in a big old horse barn. We have hay rides. It's just going to be a lot of fun. And then the part we don't want to forget is that we have this magical curriculum as the core of it, which is, I know, what started both Glenna and I onto really different lives.
Oh, awesome. Well, we'll make sure we get the information out and people can register and find out everything they need to know. Thank you both for sharing that. It's so important that folks learn the tools because, you know, for me, it is kind of like, wait a minute, why is it we're so stuck on this, Glenna? I don't even know what ease is because I don't have any. Joy is for Deepak Chopra. And by the way, I'm not quite sure about the glory part. So take us through, if you both would, you know, what is this phrase we're using, and what is ease, what is joy, and what is glory?
Yeah, awesome. Ease. That was probably the first thing that started to change for me. The idea of ease, it was just absurd to me before Access. Like, you didn't have ease. Everything was frustrating and difficult, and I worked really hard, and I was a crazy overworked mom, and I'd kind of always been that way. I'd always had many activities, overscheduled. And when I started using that tool in particular, so many of those things that I always had this point of view about that were hard work, that my overscheduling, the too many activities, I started to realize that was never my actual point of view. That was other people's point of view as buying. That was like what was valuable in the world I lived in, was working hard and being a hardworking mom and being frustrated were actually things people talked about all the time, and they would always seem and appear valuable to me. And then I realized, no, I'm just great all the time. I'm busy because that's the way I like my life to be. And I actually started getting busier. Everything started being easier that I was creating, so I was creating more, doing more, and there was a flow, almost like a seamless flow that my life started to show up as. And it's still that way, and things will hit me here and there that I'm like trying to force or control or not working. And by just changing my point of view, it's like, what if this was easy? What would it take for this to be easy? Will be enough of a question to start changing anything that's going on that I'm starting to create from difficulty. Because it doesn't really work to create in that way. When you create from this hard work ethic that we have in this country or the world, every country is a little different. When you're creating from that, it's like so many things down. Because you're almost pretending that things are hard when they're not. And also and you start creating things to be harder that you don't need to be creating. Like having a fight with your kids doing the dishes. Like, what a lot of time that way during the ease. If you can have an ease and a joy with that. So that's ease. Blossom, you want to talk about joy?
I do. And before I do, there's one thing I wanted to just throw out here, though, about this mantra, which is I didn't do a lot of mantras before Access, but I did play some with affirmations. And I just want to clarify for listeners who have done a lot of affirmations that I am happy, or I am joyful, I am exuberant, I am beautiful. In Access, we don't really play with with those statements, because often when you are saying something over and over that you don't believe yet, you are actually holding in place the opposite point of view. So like if you're saying I'm beautiful over and over and over, often it comes from this belief that you're not. And what makes this mantra so different is in saying all of life comes with ease and joy and glory. You're not stating something that you don't believe to be true. You're actually inviting, hey, no matter what shows up, no matter what I choose, my response is in my control. What I choose next is up to me. So this joy part, a lot of people I think are used to waking up with this, oh gosh, what do I have to do today? And, obligation and sort of a lack of luster. Yeah. And joy is not about this mania, this manic happiness. Joy is actually about this energy that can bubble from within you that makes you go, oh, what do I get to do today? How did I get so lucky to be alive today? What would I like to create from this place of curiosity and wonderment? And I know as more of that has shown up in my life, as I've asked for it, for more of life to come with joy, and as more of that shown up in my life, there's all these phrases in Access like money follows joy. It's true. Like when you actually invite joy into your life, it's really a magnetic energy, and one that I've been so grateful to just have more of, and again to get to choose. Yeah,
I mean, this is really what we're sharing today with people is the idea of perhaps something they hadn't thought about, or perhaps something that listen. If you've tried everything else and you think you've tried everything else, what might this look like? And yet, even with that, right, Dr. Glenna and Blossom, even with that, I believe sometimes we get so resistant to trying something that before we even get to the place to try it, we've already determined that why bother? But I hope that today what we're sharing is to say to people, don't wait till you hit the bottom of whatever it is you're at. Why not use this as a way to create a platform and an energy around it, right? So if I do this and if I practice, and I like to call it practice, 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening, okay, I want to know, what is it going to change? How is it going to change? And what have you seen other people change by using this, right? Dr. Glenna, you want to start, and then Blossom, you chime in?
Yeah. What is it going to change? That's going to be different for everybody because everyone has their own crazy ways of showing up that aren't working for them, and also they also have a lot of crazy ways that they're showing up that they're not acknowledging are totally working for them. This will start changing some of that for everybody. And the resistance, it's like choose it when you're ready. You choose it when you know. Like there's an ease with choice when it's choice can come with ease when it's the time, when it's, it's like that, like, oh, this is what I need to start creating now. Forcing this on yourself may not be the easiest thing, but if it feels light to you, if it makes you kind of smile or giggle or curious when you hear the phrase, yeah, give it a try. I mean, the way I'm using it, do I say it 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening? No, I more say it 10 times when I have something going on that it requires that phrase in my life, is the way I'm using it. When I have a doubt, it still shows up. Now I'll just say it really quickly 10 times. I'm playing with it differently than I have in years, and there's things that are, there's more space showing up. There's more space in my head that's showing up now than I've ever had. And I have a lot of space in my head these days, but every once in a while stuff comes in. And that's been very different. So yeah, choose it if it works for you. Choose it if it'd be fun. Choose it if you're just curious. I wonder what will show up when this is. But be open to the possibilities. If you're coming from a thing that nothing works in my life, or nothing's going to change anything, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So what's possible you haven't considered?
And Dr. Pat, when you mentioned skepticism earlier, I love that. This is not one of the weirdest tools in Access. This is maybe one of the least weird tools in Access, right? Because most people can go, yeah, I could see why I'd want ease and why I'd want joy. I was introduced, and if you come to the foundation, wherever you do it, you'll be introduced to some tools that you may go, well, why would I believe that? Why would I do that? Like, that doesn't make sense. That's not what I've been told. That's not what I believe. And one thing that I really loved that I was offered when I started playing with this work was, hey, you don't have to believe anything. We actually don't even want you to believe it. We don't want you to go home and go, well, Glenna said, Blossom said, Dr. Pat said. We just want you to play with it and see what it opens up in your own life. So some of these tools, I was like, all right, I don't know if this is going to work. And it sounds kind of crazy to me. But if you're not having, say, ease and joy and glory right now, and you actually would like some of that energy, well, just try it out. Next time that you're in a traffic jam and you want to slam into the car in front of you, okay, all of life comes to with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to with ease and joy and glory. And just see if it shifts your space. Because that's what I've noticed is when I play with these tools, I go, oh, gosh, well, that was easy, or that changed something. It's really different than being asked to believe something.
Yeah. And I love that because, one of the things I said to you both earlier is, I try things. I am really open to doing that. I like to try things. And, one of the things that one of the questions I asked you is, okay, you've been using this. You've seen it for yourself. What are other people saying now, too, that have tried this? Can you tell us a little bit about some of the changes folks have seen?
Well, it's cool that Blossom mentioned traffic jams because I've heard so many people have had a change in traffic. I've lived in most of the cities I've lived in my life have been cities with heavy traffic. I've been in Seattle and Boston and San Francisco and LA.
Yeah.
All of the traffic.
Yeah.
And for me, it changed. It's like, oh, what lane is going to, the lane that would be the fastest would be the one I start to turn into. And then I'd realize, oh, I'm passing everyone. Well, that's easier. And then I'd ask questions like, well, what would it take to get where I need to with total ease? And after saying this mantra and being the energy of that, traffic changed. I also had a crazy one that I had asked for. I wanted to get my son a new car and sell my car that I had at the time, or trade it in for a leased car. I wasn't sure, but it started just getting crazy looking at the possibilities in Craigslist and selling and finding a buyer. And I remember going, wow, what if this is just easy? What if I could do this with just ease? And about a week later, I got in a car accident. Now, a car accident is not something people usually think is easy. And my first moment was like, oh, my God, what did I create? And it felt like this car had actually been pulled through a red light into my car, and it felt like a marshmallow. And I had a big truck, I have a Ford Explorer, and they had a Ford Ranger, I think, the person that hit me, or helped create this crazy. Well, I had the energy, and I think I did say all of life with a few swear words attached. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And this other one is what's so right about this I'm not getting, which we've talked about on other calls. I was home in about an hour. My car was completely totaled. I got more money for it than I would have if I'd sold it. There was a sale to get my leased car. I had the extra money to buy my son his car when he got his driver's license. I was teaching a class, I think 2 hours later that evening. I had intro night, and it was absolute peace. Now, it's about the most uneasy thing people can consider, but all of your life, including a car accident, can show up with ease. And glory. There was an abundance. I mean, I created more money with this than I would have in other ways. Like the universe goes, okay, you want it to be easy, you want some glory and abundance in your life, a little bit of joy, here you go. And I'm in a car accident. So it can be really strange how it shows up. And Blossom, do you have some good examples about how people use the tool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love, one thing I remind myself is it just never does show up the way you think it will. I was flying home. I feel like I live in airports, but I had one flight a while ago, and I was the only person that got bumped off of the flight. And I was actually traveling with a service animal, and we still got bumped. And so this is just when you notice that you want to go to that, like, rah, rah, rah energy, or at least I do, right? That's where you want to go to one of your negative mantras, or one of those, like, why does this happen? Or airlines these days, or, whatever that is. And really, really choosing instead, okay, so all of life, joy and glory, really, like, what else is possible here? What would it take to get home with ease? And I ended up being stuck in an airport, and then they couldn't reroute. Like, it was this whole thing. And then they put me on a different airline. And by the time I got home, I realized I landed 12 minutes before my other flight had landed. Mm-hmm. They had given me vouchers for a free flight in the future. And I had realized all these things sort of about myself during the trip. I had written this, like, whole blog article in the meantime. And those little things, I go, oh, my gosh, that is the ease and joy and glory, right? I got where I was going. It looked like it was a bad thing. I got where I was going. I got paid to do it, and there was a creative process along the way. So how does it get better than that? And Dr. Pat, we opened a website called Access Stories of Change this year, because what we're finding is that most people you talk to who's been playing with these tools for a while has 50 stories where they go, oh, yeah, I did this with my brother, and this thing happened, and I did that with my mom, and oh, my gosh, and when everybody was losing their job during the recession, I got a raise, just like wild things. So we invited a whole website of them, because there's just so many little, oh, wow, that's different.
Oh, yeah. And so how can people see those? Where can they go to read about some of those stories? Because I think we all look to stories to inspire us.
Absolutely. That's called accessstoriesofchange.com.
Great.
And you'll find some of those there.
Great. And, one of the things that I want to get back to is, having talked about this today, we also talked about living the foundation, and we talked about this upcoming event, right? This upcoming class. I would love for you both to share what the experience is like and how folks will have an opportunity to not just learn about this particular mantra or this particular idea, but how the classes bring things together. Could each of you talk about how this upcoming one will do that? I know we talked about it a little bit, but this one seems really different for me than some of the others you do. This one really does look like a party.
This one is a party, and it's a party closed, though, in this idea that we would love for people to go home feeling like they know what it is to live these tools. When I started this work, there were no radio shows, there were no blogs, there were no telecalls people did. So you just went to a class and you got all these tools together. And I think it's amazing you can just turn on the radio and hear this now. But one thing that's happening, too, is sometimes the tools are a little disjointed, or you may feel like you're missing information, or it's not actually actualizing in your life. You're not creating it the way you know you could. So that's one of the reasons, bringing all these pieces together. Our hope is that you'll leave really going, oh, I get how I could choose this every day now, and I'm going to start today. And I can now notice, these beliefs that come in my head and clear them or change them or make different choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Glenna. Right.
Yeah, it's the creation to have a practical way to use the tools during the class, and to have all these, we've got a really nice sized class showing up, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be using it with you, and there's just the three facilitators I've talked about, Blossom, Stephanie, and I, and then there's other facilitators. We have how many access facilitators? Like 10 that are going to be at the class?
There's I think there's 10 facilitators now, and really specializing in every different subject. We have a horse expert, we have a business expert, people who've really studied access. So, again, it's a party. The facilitators all wanted to come. They're like, can I come offer this class or be part of it?
And it's July 22nd to the 26th. Is that correct? Do I have the right dates?
Yes, that is correct. And we're doing a little welcome on the 21st. So.
So the welcome party. So it's the party before the party?
Exactly.
Wow. First of all, let me thank each of you for being here. I want to make sure that we take a few minutes, and each of you please let folks know how they can find out more about you. And then I want to ask you this to please share your personal message with our listeners. And thank you so much for all that you do. Dr. Glenna, would you like to go first?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pat. Always such an amazing show. So you can find me easy, GlennaRice.com. That's my email, which is Glenna@GlennaRice.com. You can also email me. And then also on the Access site, drglennarice.accessconsciousness.com if you want to have a quick way to find all my classes. And for today, I'm going to just, what would it take for you guys to choose to use this mantra to see what will it create from a curiosity and a playfulness? What if all of your life came to you with ease, joy, and glory?
Awesome. Thank you. How about you, Blossom? And thank you for today.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm always grateful for these conversations. And listeners can find me at blossombenedict.com and also at Blossom Benedict on Facebook. I make videos and blogs nearly daily, just sharing how I actually use these tools in my life. A lot of them are a little self-deprecating and funny because every moment isn't perfect, and I think we're all on our journey. I also do classes in Right Voice for You if you'd like more with creativity or showing up in front of others. I'll be in Seattle and New York and Paris this year.
Wow.
And I guess I travel and share all of this because I really do believe that anything can change. And, whatever's not working in your life, I guess all I would say today is don't give up on yourself. If you're willing to be tenacious and keep asking, I know it can change.
Wow. Thank you both for today. You rock. And I love, love, love having these conversations. Thank you for all that you do. Please say hi to the rest of the team. Thank you guys so much for today.
I will. Thanks, Dr. Pat.
Awesome. All right, everybody, we're going to take a short break. More coming your way. What do we know about multi-generational healing? Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.